Hey, boys and girls, are you ready for another story? Well, we have another holiday coming up, and this holiday is usually for somebody very special in your life. Do you know what holiday it is? It's Mother's Day, and it's a day when we get to celebrate our wonderful mothers that are in our lives. And usually for Mother's Day, I like to have a Mother's Day tea. And we get all dressed up and we wear fancy big hats and we have a brunch together. Do you know what brunch is? Brunch is right in between breakfast and lunch. So we have a meal that's right in between breakfast and lunch, and it's called brunch. And that's what we do together. So I thought that maybe we could read a story called Tea for Ruby. Do you think we can do that? I think so. I think that'll be a nice Mother's Day story. So we're going to read this story, but before we do that, what do we need to do? We need to do our finger play. Are you ready? Hands up high, hands down low, hands behind your back. Now, where did they go? Out comes one, out comes two. Clap hands, fold hands. Now we're through. Let's begin. Tea for Ruby. By Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, and illustrated by Robin Preiss Glasser. You are invited to have tea with the Queen on Sunday. Please bring your very best manners. I've been invited to have tea with the Queen! Ruby, I hope you won't shout when you have tea with the Queen. I've been invited to have tea with the Queen! Ruby, I hope you won't interrupt when you have tea with the Queen. I've been invited to have tea with the Queen! Ruby, I hope you'll wait your turn when you have tea with the Queen. I've been invited to have tea with the Queen! I've been invited to have tea with the Queen! Ruby, I hope you'll dress appropriately when you have tea with the Queen. I've been invited to have tea with the Queen! Ruby, I hope you'll say please and thank you when you have tea with the Queen. I've been invited to have tea with the Queen. Shh! Ruby, I hope you won't talk when you shouldn't when you have tea with the Queen. I've been invited to have tea with the Queen. Ruby, I hope you'll remember to welcome people when you have tea with the Queen. Beef, beef, blighten, do bluff, bleep, bleef, blip, flin. Ruby, I hope you won't talk with your mouth full and won't tip your chair back and will use your fork and napkin when you have tea with the Queen. Tomorrow, I'm gonna have tea with the Queen. Ruby, I hope you remember to sit up straight when you have tea with the Queen. Today's the day! Let's hurry! We don't want to be late. Remember to chew with my mouth closed. Remember not to speak with my mouth full. Remember to say please and thank you. Remember to welcome people. Remember to use my fork and napkin. Remember not to interrupt. Remember not to shout. Remember to wait my turn. Remember to sit up straight. Remember not to talk when I shouldn't. Are we here? Grandma! My princess! May I offer you more tea, Princess Ruby? Oh, yes, please, Grandma. Thank you. Dear Grandma, thank you so much for inviting me to tea. I tried to use my very best manners. The tarts were delicious, but my favorite thing was just being with you. I love you, Ruby. The end. So did you guys like that story? Who was the queen in the story? Ruby's grandmother. So she got to have tea with the queen, and that was Ruby's grandmother, right? And sometimes we call our moms and our grandmas queens or princesses. Sometimes they call you a princess or a prince, right? So she called her grandmother the queen, and she got to have tea with her. Did she learn some manners? She did. This story was all about how we should have manners around people. We shouldn't talk with our mouth full. We shouldn't scream and yell, right? We should take turns. All of those things are very important. So that's why I wanted to share this with you, to make sure that not only during Mother's Day, but every day you can use your best manners that you can, okay? And I'll see you guys next time, and we'll share another story together, okay? Bye.